Well, guys, welcome back to the International Flight Campaign. This is Friday um, edition. I'm really excited. And again, I want to kind of give you some information. Our new website is up and running, and you can get it at internationalflightcampaign.com, where you can see the recognition, guys. Many of your pictures are going to be added up there because you're going to hit international. You can find more about the program, but more importantly, the tools section. And the password is capital I, small lowercase FC. It's a capital C, campaign, but the C is capital, 2015. So the biggest thing to make that I capital, and you should be able to get into the tools section, which is password protected. Now, having said that, what we did was on Wednesday, we talked about overcoming objections. I'm not going to go back over the whole training, but I do want to touch on those 5 points that we gave you on Wednesday about overcoming objections, the steps to overcoming objections. The first thing we said that objections will come. You should expect them, but don't create them. We also said you got 2 ears, guys. You want to listen twice as much as you're speaking. We encouraged you not to be intimidated because a person asks you a question, that understand the person who asked the question is in control of the conversation. So it's natural to, when a person, you pique a person's interest for them to ask you a question. Don't get intimidated. Become skillful, because you can lead people in the direction that you want them to go. And so those are some of the things we talked about. But we also gave you this quick 5-step process where we said, Gwendolyn, what you want to do is you want to first hear them out. So when they're asking you a question, don't get bombarded. Don't feel like you just got to rush in and answer them. Don't interrupt them. Just hear them out so you can thoroughly understand where the area of concern is. Listen to them. Don't interrupt them. Not only is that rude, but you might start answering something they didn't ask. And so that was the first thing, hear them out. Point number 2 was feed it back to them in the form of a question. This is going to help you because it's going to give you more time to really crystallize what they're saying. Sometimes when somebody may ask a question, you think you know, but sometimes you may say, well, what do you mean by that? Or can you explain that another way? Guys, that's very profound, because what it allows them to do is really express what it is that they're thinking, and now you can really find the best way to handle the objection with the question that they ask. Also allows you to get a deeper understanding. And we're going to you'll see this tonight as we go over some of the objections. Point number 3, and this is probably one of the most powerful ones, because it allows you to empathize with them. You know, it allows you to relate with them. So Heidi, what happens is you can say, look, I know exactly how you feel. You know, you hear them, I say, I know exactly how you feel. You know, in fact, I felt the same way. But what I found was, See, that's the key when you're talking to people. You got to empathize and let them know, listen, Marcy, I understand exactly how you feel. See, now they feel like, okay, this objection I have is not uncommon. I felt the exact same way. But what I found was, or you can also say, I know exactly how you feel. I have a friend or a business partner who they felt the same way. It may not be your testimony, so you don't have to lie or make up something, but you want to use the feel, felt, found method. And what happens is when you do this, it really brings them over to your side, because you're saying, hey, you're not stupid for thinking that way. You know, so when they give the objection, using the method feel, felt, found is going to really help you. The 4th thing we said that you need to do when preparing to overcome the objection, and I apologize for not correcting that word objection, please forgive me. But point number 4, answer the objection. Answer it, you know, or the area of concern, but stress the benefit. See, guys, there's nothing wrong with them having that question. There's nothing wrong with them. You don't have to be intimidated or be flustered because they have a question, guys. Guess what? But answer it, but then stress the benefit. In point 5, we said confirm and regain control with the question. Now, I mentioned something on Wednesday that we talked about, and I talked about tie downs. And so, Michelle, we introduced a concept called tie downs. Marvin, we talked about tie downs, and what tie downs are it's a question at the end of your statement that demands a yes and isolates the objection. And I want everybody to get skillful at this. See, lecture, a tie down, it has to become a natural speech habit. And so, guys, I want you to get good at tie downs. Lucretia, it's got to become repetitious, and you got to practice it over and over. If anybody ever talks to me, you'll know when I'm talking, you always hear me say, that makes sense, doesn't it? Guys, that's an example of a tie down. Now, some of the common tie downs are, isn't it, didn't I, doesn't it, wasn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't it, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you agree? As I stated, haven't you, won't you, hasn't he, hasn't she, aren't they, haven't they, shouldn't they, couldn't they? I mean, those are just some of the common. There are other ones you can come up with, but guys, what I'm saying, these are some of the common ones, and they're tie downs. And again, they're used at the end of a statement. They're questions at the end of a statement that isolate the objection. So let's give an example. Let's practice. So if I said Marvin, and I'm going to tell you the statement, but I want you to answer. So what you're going to see is I may say, Linda, I'm going to say, that makes sense. And you respond, doesn't it? And so Reggie, I would also say, they are fun. And the answer is, aren't they? Joanne, you enjoy saving money, don't you? That was one, wasn't it? See, Jason, saving money on your taxes is exciting, isn't it? See, y'all getting the point? See, you're making a statement, but at the end, the question comes at the end. And so what happens is you got to get this down. You got to perfect this. And so, Deborah, what happens is this. Lastly, you would enjoy earning additional income, wouldn't you? See, now that's what I mean. You got to practice, drill, and rehearse. Now, somebody already said, and I'm not going to go back through it, but they said, okay, go over that again. So you can take a screen capture. Plus, I want to let you know that we've actually taken this whole training, and it's in a Word document that will be uploaded in the back office. And so I wanted to let you know, these are the common tie-downs. You can take a screen capture. I'm getting text messages now. Slow down. But I need you to understand that this has to become a part of your speech pattern. See, you're going to get real skillful, guys. The reason you're going to make a lot of money is because you're going to get good at what you do. You're going to become skillful. So, again, we're telling you objections are natural. Don't be scared or intimidated by objections. They naturally come, but if you're skillful and you know how to answer them, then you'll be successful. And so let me quickly go back through this to get back to the point. Now, let's go on. So I'm going to read over a couple of these, and then we're going to go live because I want, and I didn't finish putting the pictures up, so pardon me, it's going to be a lot of writing, but I just want to go over these real quick. And what I want you to see, Ms. Gorham, is areas. These are going to be some of the common objections you may get. You may talk to somebody and they say, I'm just not interested. And now do you say, okay, well, they're not interested? Or do you understand? And you say, well, just to make sure I understand, just for my clarification, what exactly are you not interested in? Jackie, is it you're not interested in making more money? Is it you're not interested in saving more money? Or you're not interested in reducing your taxes? What are you not interested in? See, it's okay for them to say, I'm not interested. That's the objection. And I told you if they present an objection is the reason why they can't go forward. Guys, you can't get intimidated just because they say something. You can't run and tuck your head between your tails and say, oh, my God. No. See, guys, that's what you call the smoke screen. The objection is not, you got to give them a reason to go forward. And it's not combative. It's not you're arguing with them. It's you want to get clarification. So just to make sure I understand, just for my clarification, what exactly are you not interested in? Elise, is it you're not interested in making additional money? Maybe is it you're not interested in saving money, or you're not interested in reducing your taxes or earning residual income? See, guys, I'm not trying to get you to lock in verbatim. Oh, what do I got to say? Let me write that down. All these are written down, so you don't have to worry about writing it down. I just want to kind of cover it because when we open up in a few moments and go over objections, I'm going to do some of them live, but then we're going to get on the phone and I'm going to do some with you. And I'm going to give some of the common objections. So I don't want you to get locked in that I got to say this verbatim. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach you the technique. And you're going to see during the presentation, you're going to see these techniques so that you can get comfortable. Guys, it's not, Jackie may answer it one way. I may answer another way. We get the same goal. We get them to say yes. So that's the point. Now, let's move on to point number 2. Another common objection is, I just don't have any time, right? And so I may say, Belinda, I totally understand. Let me ask you this. Belinda, if you won the state lottery, or let's say the cash 3, and I know you don't play, but let's say you won it for $100,000. But you had one stipulation. You could get the winnings, but you had to volunteer 20 hours a week in community service. Belinda, let me ask you this question. Could you find 20 hours a week in order for you to get that $100,000? And you know what Belinda going to say? Yes. So in essence, Belinda, what you're telling me is not that you don't have time. You don't think it's worth it. Do you? Well, see, now we're in a discussion. I can move you over to my side. It's okay that initially you said this. Just because what you said, that's not what's going to keep them from going forward. Guys, you got to become skillful. Always remember, always be closing. Somebody's closing. Either they're closing you or you're going to close them. But guys, if we don't become skillful and learn how to hear them out, how to repeat it back in the form of a question, how to let them know, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way, but what I found. See, another one, you'll hear people say, I'm just not good at these things. You know, Carolyn, people say all the time, I'm just not good at these. That's for you. I'm just not good at these things. So what I'm saying is, well, can you explain to me exactly what you mean by that? Don't feel like you just got to answer, oh, no, Listen, so can you explain to me just what you mean by that? Well, I'm just not good to talking to people. I'm just not good at doing presentations. So in other words, what you're saying is that you feel the only way you can make money or be successful in my business is you got to approach strangers or speak in front of large groups of people? Well, yeah. Well, let me ask you this. If I could show you, Luttra, how you could be very successful in our company without ever having to approach a stranger or ever speaking in front of a large group of people, would you at least give it a try? Well, I guess. Or they may say, well, see, what I'm saying is they're looking for the reason for you to kind of tip them over. I want us to stop running from people when they give you a common objection. See, guys, you got to get just as skillful. And Mona, it's not you debating with them. It's you giving them a different way of thinking about what they're saying. So a lot of times, instead of you just coming back combative, is this a bit? No. Get clarification, guys. You got to be skillful, right? Let's move on. And again, I told you normally there'll be pictures up there. I got them. I ran out of time. So again, another way somebody may say, I'm just not good at this. Nicoya, is very easy to say, well, can I ask you a question? And she says, well, yeah, what do you mean by that? And I may say, what do you do now? And they say, well, I'm a lawyer. I work at AT&T. I'm an accountant. I'm a mechanic. So you ask them a very common question. You say, Michelle, let me ask you this. When you first started working for your company at Verizon, did you come out the gate knowing how to do everything, or did you get trained? And the obvious answer, I got trained. So exactly. So if we trained you, would you agree that you could learn how to be successful? Or you could learn how to be successful, couldn't you? You see, Marvin, how now you begin to develop the skills. It's not necessarily you got to feel intimidated, because all they're saying is give me a reason to go forward. This is why I'm telling you I can't do it, but you got to be, Greg, you got to be just as skilled to say, no, this is why you should do it. You know, I'm just not good at those things. Well, can I ask you a question? Just to clarify my thinking, what exactly do you mean by that? See, guys, you want to feed it back to them in the form of a question, but guess what? Stress the benefit. So if we could train you, you would agree with me that you could become successful, couldn't you? Right? What's another one? Common objections that we get. I'm not good at talking to people. You've heard somebody say, I'm just not good at talking to people. I'm just not that type of person. I don't like talking to people. That's fine. Denisha, all I'm saying is this. So, again, I'm going to ask you, what do you do now? And they may say, well, I do whatever. I'm saying, let me ask you, honestly, do you like every aspect of your current job? And wait for an answer. WFA, just in case you didn't know, means wait for an answer. It means instead of just running on the sentence like you're trying to memorize it, it means wait for them to answer. And so Ms. Gorin, what happens is this. They say, well, no. So you said, so there's some things in your current job that you don't enjoy, correct? But let me ask you this. If you could earn 6 figures, could you learn to love talking to people? Well, if you put it that way, yeah, if I was earning 6 figures, I wouldn't. See, it's not they don't like talking to people. It's the fear of being rejected. It's the fear. See, guys, we got to become skillful at helping people understand that. No, I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm not going to sit and lie to you. Tyler, I'm not going to sit and lie to you. I'm just saying, see, they say, I'm not good at talking to people. So you say, okay. No, I'm saying, well, listen, if you can learn to make 6 figures, could you learn to love to talk to people? I don't like wearing suits. I ain't going to tell you you ain't got to wear a suit. I'm just simply saying, if you could make 6 figures, could you learn to love wearing suits? Or you could learn to love wearing suits, couldn't you? Right? See, what I want you to see is that's not one way to answer any objection. So I don't want you to get locked in trying to memorize. I want you to learn the techniques. So when we open up the line, don't try to memorize what I'm saying. Get the concept. You follow me? Get the concept. And when you're going to really learn this is doing three-way phone calls. Because you do three-way phone calls and you get Jackie on the phone, you get Schnauz on the phone, you get myself on the phone, Cheryl, and what's going to happen is you're going to hear us when we talk to people. Because and I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 versions of this one. Because everybody tell me I'm busy. I don't have any time. So, again, you'll hear me always saying, let me ask you a question. I do it all the time. Let me ask you a question. Sure. And the reason I always say let me ask you a question because it makes them pay attention to what I'm about to ask. That's why I do that. Can I ask you a question? Sure. Now they're intently listening to what I'm about to say, and it also gives me a chance to think. So they may say, I'm just too busy. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Are you busy getting ahead or are you busy getting by? See, Shanquilla, they're going to say, well, I'm busy getting by. If there was a way that you could increase your income or your quality of life, you would agree at least it would be irresponsible for you to at least investigate it, wouldn't you? See, I mean, you're busy, but you ain't living the life you want to live right now. So if there was a way that you can increase your quality of life, you almost be irresponsible not to at least take a look at it, wouldn't you? See, I want them to think a different way. I'm not intimidated because, see, when you get good at what guys, you're going to wait for them. You can't wait for them to say, I'm busy. Let me give you another one. If I'm busy. And so, Sarita, what happens? Birth say, I'm just too busy. I just got too much on my plate. I just got so much going on. And then you say, great. You're going to love vacation. See, that's going, huh? I just told you I was busy. I ain't got no time. Oh, my goodness, great. You're going to love vacation then. Because it's the perfect business for busy people, such as yourself. See, Cheryl, let me ask you this. If I could show you how you can increase your income with the time you currently have and show you how you can make more money every time somebody books travel, you would agree that watching the presentation would be a wise investment of your time, wouldn't you? See, my point is, just because they say they're too busy, what does that mean? See, we all got 24 hours in a day. And I know everybody, oh, I'm busy, I'm busy. Well, what I'm saying, guys, is yeah, hear what they're saying. They served you something, serve it back. Can I ask you a question? You know, are there some people who wish you weren't so busy? You know, if you're so busy, I mean, ask them, are they busy getting ahead, busy getting by? So you don't have to attack them, but have a discussion with them. Guys, I want you to be skillful at what you do. And so what happens, Sandra, is this. Another one, and I'm just going over a few of these, and I'll be wrapped up, like I said, in about 3 or 4 minutes, we're going to go live. A person, I'm just too busy. Let me ask you a question. Are you busy because you work a lot now? Oh, yeah. That's exactly why I want you to look at our business. That's exactly why I want you to come out to the presentation. So I can show you how to work less and make more money, where you can have more time freed up to spend as you like. Honestly, wouldn't you love to have more free time doing the things that you enjoy instead of things you got to do? Well, yeah. So if we can help you increase your income and show you how you can have more time to enjoy the things that you like, you could set aside an hour to come look at a presentation, couldn't you? See, you could set aside an hour. And again, guys, you heard me say different things. What I'm trying to get you to say is not one way you answer. It depends who I'm talking to. It depends what I'm talking about. It depends what I'm thinking about. It depends on how I'm going to answer it. But what I am saying is I hear you telling me you're busy. So I'm going to say, listen, I mean, if I had tickets to the game, because they'd tell me I ain't got no time. But see, people do understand this, guys. Adults do what they want to do. So when they tell you I don't have time, what they're saying is I don't see the value and I want to invest my time. But people will do what they want to do. So just because they serve that to you, you need to serve it back. Can I ask you a question? Well, that's the next one. Let me just go on to the next one. I'm going to do one more. I'm busy. So they say I'm busy. You know, I totally understand. I know exactly how you feel. You know, I was actually working 2 jobs. I was in school, and I felt the same way. I didn't have time to put nothing else on my plate. The last thing I was looking for something else to do. I told the person, no, 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 no. But you know what I realized? If I kept doing the same thing that I was doing, things would never get better. I would never have time to do the things that I really wanted, which was spend time with my kids. So I decided, you know what, to work this business on a part-time basis so I can gain control over my time. That makes sense, doesn't it? See, guys, what you're saying is I understand how you feel because I'm busy too. You don't have to attack them and make them feel like, oh, you ain't busy. No. Guys, have a discussion. Walk them through the process. You need to become skillful at what you do, guys. You're professionals. So you don't have to be, you don't have to, I keep using this word, but you don't have to, because they say something, you don't have to be intimidated. No, you want to be skillful and answer them. Say, I understand exactly how you feel. Many of you are busy on the line. You said the same thing. And if you hear people say why they didn't have time because I didn't have time, tell them. Tell them, listen, guys, if you saw my schedule, I'm a wife, I got kids, go right back at them because they swear that they're the only one in their world that got something else to do. And if you think they're real busy, tell them about somebody else. You know, you remind me of I got a business partner. You know what? She's in school. She's got 2 kids. She's getting a PhD. But guess what? I'm gonna tell why she made time. See, if I don't have children, this person has children. I'm not gonna talk about me because they're gonna think I can't relate. But guess what? I'm gonna start talking about one of my business partners who is busy, just like they are, but how they're making time and doing some phenomenal things in this business. See, guys, what I'm saying is just because they give you an objection, you don't got to run from it. When you get skillful, you're going to love it. Oh, this is a good one. Is this network marketing? You talk to them and you pique their interest. Hey, let me ask you a question. Know what you know about Expedia? If there was a way that you can make, if you could invest 10 years ago, would you? Oh, absolutely. Listen, I got a business, not opportunity. I got a project I'm working on. I need you to get on this conference call. Well, is this network marketing? Don't get intimidated. Don't get scared. Ask them, do you like network marketing? Well, no. Then you're going to love our business. Huh? See, I done caught you off guard, right? See, I got a response. I don't care what you say. Do you like it? Don't just assume, don't just assume because they ask you the question, is this network marketing? You don't got to be intimidated by network. Ask them, do you like network marketing? Well, no, then you're going to love our business. Well, do you like network marketing? Well, yeah, well, then you're going to love our business. It's the same answer. Why? Why are they going to love the business? Tell them. Because what it's going to give you, the freedom of time to spend with your family, to make more money, residual income. See, they don't understand network marketing. So don't let people who don't understand talk to you about something they don't understand. And they're telling you more about your business than you know. I'm going to go through these real quick, guys. That's just not for me. I don't do things like that. That's the same thing. It's just another way of saying that. I understand how you feel. You know, I said I would never do one of those things. I felt the same way. I felt that it wasn't for people who couldn't get real jobs. I didn't want to go talk to my family and friends. See, guys, we done heard it. Some of us was like that anyway. But tell them what you found. But you know what? A friend of mine asked me just do a favor. And I said I was just going to look at the business just to get them off my last nerve. I was going to say no. Have a discussion, guys. That's what I'm telling you. Don't try to memorize it. Have a discussion. Tell them, but you know what caught my attention? When they talked about those tax breaks, if that's your story. You know what caught my attention? They showed a trip that I love to travel. See, guys, the person has the same thoughts you got, but you got to let them know, I know how you feel. See, I said the same thing. I was you. And really? So now you got their attention. Don't be intimidated because they say, is this network marketing? That's just not for me. I don't do those things. Same thing. So now, is this sales? Are you interested in sales? No. Then you're going to love our business. Is this sales? Yes. Then you're going to love our business. I don't have time. How much time does it take? Well, they say, well, how much time? They ask you, well, how much time does it take? Guess what? You don't just say it don't take a lot of time. The question is, how much time do you have? Or the answer is, how much time do you have? Well, I got about 10 hours a week. Perfect. I got 2 hours a week. Perfect. Well, I got 20 hours a week. Perfect. But don't just say, well, don't take a lot of time. No, that means you're being defensive. You're putting your head between your tail. Stand up boldly and guess what? Listen to what they're saying and say, well, can you know, how much time do you have? Is this sales? Do you like sales? I told you whoever asked the question in control the conversation. So they'll throw a question out at you. Repeat the question back at them. Just to clarify my thinking, what do you mean by that? Is this sales? Absolutely. You know, I won't even say absolutely. I'll ask them, do they like it? I want to know how they think first. If they say, no, I don't like sales, I'm going to tell them, you'll be great. You're going to love what we're doing. So, I'm not a salesperson. Then you're going to love what we're doing. You know, so we're going on that. Now, having said that, let's talk about the last one. I got two of these for this, and then we're going to move on. I don't have the 149. Now, most people don't want to admit it. They'll give you all these other excuses, but the reality is most of them don't have the money. So that's common. People tell you they don't have the 149. I beg to differ. They do have the money. They just don't see why they should spend it here. So a common way that we answer this, Sandra, and we used to do some presentations. We're going to get back to it. But Roger, I'll just simply say, Roger, can I ask you a question? And you say, yeah. What if I told you I would sell you my 750? I had the keys to 750 Li out front, $50,000 car. But you know, I would sell it to you right now for $150. Could you get, if you didn't have it, could you get it? Of course. So, or if I told you you had an hour to come up with it, could you come up with it in an hour? Yeah. So so you would agree if the desire was great enough, you could get the money. See, it ain't do they have it, can you get it? See, what I'm offering you is something greater than a car. So, you know what I'm saying? What I'm simply saying is I'm not trying to get you to memorize verbatim. I'm trying to get you to understand the concept. People tell you they don't have the money, but put something that they value and say, well, let me ask you this. If I had this and I told you you had to come up with this money, could you come up with it? And they're going to tell you yes. So what they're telling you is not that they don't have it or they can get it. They don't see the value. And that's what we got to understand. I had another one for money, and we want to open up. I don't have the money. So this is a great one. This one right here is Patsy. What I love telling people is, Patsy, if you can I ask you a question? Sure. How many years have you been working? Oh man, I've been working 20-something years. Doesn't it seem strange if you've been working 20-something years, you can't put your hands on $150? Patsy, that's the very reason why you really need to consider working with us on a part-time basis, right? So you never had to sit in person again. Now that's when I want to attack them, but. So you can earn extra money so you can get your goals and dreams. That's what we're talking about. They tell you ain't got the money. I started laughing. I said, did you hear what you just said? What? What's funny? You talking to me about the problem. I'm talking to you about the solution. I already know you ain't got the money. That's why you need to do the business. I don't see, guys, what I'm saying. Don't be intimidated because they tell you don't have the money. Do 3 ways so you can hear how your success coach answers But guys, you're going to become the success coach. You have to get good at overcoming objections. Now, is this a pyramid? Just to clarify my thinking, what's your definition of a pyramid? You know, most of your job a pyramid. Well, what have you accomplished? It's still enjoying you. Guys, they need to change the way that they think. So that's why if you get good at the technique, you can let them know, you know, hear them out. Well, just for my clarification, what's your definition of a pyramid? What do you mean by pyramid? Well, that's where you put people in and they get people, and the people at the top make the money. And then you can turn around and ask them, like David Manning. He said, well, what do you do now? Well, I work, and then bring back their job and say, well, you got a CEO, right? He's at the top or she's at the top? Yeah. And they got by. See, what I'm saying is if you listen to them, you don't have to try to be defensive. I said that enough so you get the point. So one of the ones I like using when they says it's a pyramid, particularly if I know them, I say, Jackie, how many years I've been on you? And she'll say, about what, 20 years? Jackie, you want to consider my closest friends. You honestly think I'll try to get you involved with something illegal? And I'm quiet. Well, no, I'm just saying, Jackie, I don't know if I should be offended or, you know, see, I'm picking with her. I got her on defense now. I'm saying, you honestly think, what are you trying to say about me? You think I'll get you involved with something illegal? Really? And you, right? I don't travel. You know, people say that. If I gave you a free trip, would you take it? So let me ask you, what is the reason that you don't travel? That's why you need to come take a look at the presentation. I just don't have the money, right? So, guys, those are just some common objections. I'm happy where I am. Great. And you can stay where you are, make an extra $1,500 to $3,000 a month part-time, right? So I want to think it over. Obviously, you wouldn't tell me you want to think it over unless you were seriously interested, would you? No, I mean, I'm sure you're not telling me that just to get rid of me, are you? So may I assume after you think it over, you'll give it careful consideration? Yeah, just to clarify my thinking. What is it you want to think over? Is it the company? Well, no. Is it the product that we offer? No. Is it the leadership? No. Could you level with me? Could it be the money? So, guys, those are just some of the common objections. I want to talk it over to my spouse. I tell people, great. As a matter of fact, why don't we call them now so we can set up a time so I can come by and give a presentation. Stop letting them go home and say, I'm going to tell my spouse about it. They're not trained to tell the spouse about it. What you need to respond is, absolutely, that's great. So call them right now so we can set up a time where we can come by and deliver the presentation. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yes, that was one, wasn't it? You're catching on, aren't you? So, again, you see the different tie-downs and those different things. So, guys, having said that, again, this document, I already have it. It's going to be uploaded. I'll send it out tonight to all y'all in the PDF so you don't have to get concerned about trying to memorize it or, oh, you're moving too fast. That wasn't the purpose. The purpose was so you get the technique. We talked about what the 5 things were for the technique. And guys, what we're going to do is I want to throw out some objections to you. I just want to, it's not for you to be intimidated. I want you to be a little comfortable with answering them, you know, and just see how you will. So this is where I'm going to ask volunteers. What you do is put up your hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to go live and let a couple people see how they overcome some objections. And so I'll just give some of them might be real easy. Most of them will be easy. But I just want, you know, I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of resistance. But I'm going to try to make it as live and natural as possible so that you can feel comfortable. And again, guys, this is where you learn. This is where you learn. But we're going to open up. Does anybody have any questions about what we covered first? Questions first. Anybody got any questions? You hit the hand button, and we can get your questions. Well, thank you, Miss Belinda. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You're enjoying it. Anybody got any questions? Guys, this is your time now. This is when you get to go. Don't be scared to go live. Does somebody want to ask me some questions? And let me go live and overject. If you experience something you didn't know how to answer it, okay. Jason, how you doing, sir?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Do you have a question first, and then we'll go live to the, doing some object. Did you have a question or?
Yes, I've got a question. Normally, when I've been talking to quite a bit of people lately, and as you were just saying, most of them say that they're really busy because now it's the holidays, and you're trying to get them to come to either a meeting, or you're trying to do a one-on-one, or you're trying to do something over the phone before the end of the year, because you want to let them know about the tax breaks. And if they were to get in now, then they could go back 6 months. But the response I keep getting, is like you said, they're either too busy or they can't find the time to call, or they have to talk. I've had them say, well, I need to talk to my spouse, and I said, okay, I did what you said. Everything that you're saying I've been doing, but it's like, they're really interested, but it's like, I'm still waiting for people to call me back. You don't want to be a nag. You don't want to overdo it. And some people say, well, let's just wait until the beginning of the year. So I mean, what do you do?
Well, a couple of things I would say, and I'm glad you asked that. I really am. First of all, Jason, I don't, when people tell me they're interested, but you make time for what you're interested in. So what I would actually do is say, well, Jason, if you're not interested, just tell me. It's okay. And but I could go over different ways. It depends on each conversation. But based on what you told me, hopefully what I armed you with tonight, what I would do is if a person told me that they were extremely busy, had a lot going on for the holidays, I would say, I understand exactly how you feel. That's exactly the reason why I'm calling you, because I know that you're real busy. But Jason, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Now, notice I said, can I ask you a question? I need you to pay attention. Jason, if I told you if you would invest $150, that in 90 days I would give you back $3,000, could you afford to do that? Or would you do that?
Yeah, that'd be a no-brainer.
But Jason, that's exactly why you need to take 20 minutes to get on this phone call, because that's exactly what I'm telling you. I want to show you how, Jason, with a minimal investment, just in taxes alone, you can save $3,000 to $5,000 next year. So, Jason, let me ask you this. It would be irresponsible for you at least not to take 20 minutes to take a look to listen to the call tonight. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it would be.
See, I tied you down. I made you answer the way I wanted you, because I said, wouldn't you agree? And so my point being is, yes, if you don't use tie downs, then they'll tell you something. You'll be like, okay, well, I'll call you back, or no. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They may give you an objection, but you have to listen to what they say, feed it back. So I'm gonna give you one other way. You say, well, I'm just so busy. Jason, I totally understand. I totally respect. I know it's the holiday times. You're real busy. But Jason, again, let me ask you this question. And again, can I ask you a question? You'll notice I do that all the time. And you're saying, yes, I'm trying to get you to think the way I'm thinking. So I'm saying, Jason, if there was a way that you could position yourself and leverage or get, position yourself to be in front of a wave that's going to take place where people are making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, you would want to know about it, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
See, Jason, I don't want you to call me and say, why didn't you tell me? I mean, if it wouldn't be worth your time, I wouldn't even call you. Jason, I need as a friend, I need you to do me a favor. I know that you're busy, but you can make time for what you want to do, can't you?
Yes, I could.
So, Jason, I need you to set aside 15 minutes tonight. I want to stop by and show you what I'm doing, or I want to say, you're going to look at this call. But what I'm saying, it comes with your posture. It comes with you having a discussion. Just because they gave you an objection, if you didn't know how to answer it, then they closed you. And he's like, oh, okay. All right, well, call me back when you're ready. No, So we'll practice. You'll get more, but I can make a few phone calls. When you make some, I can be on the line and listen, or Jackie or whatever, because I want to hear what you're saying. I mean, you're telling me what they're saying, but I can tell you, if you practice these skills, you get good at what you do. They're going to answer the way you want them to. So,
Right.
Excellent question. Thank you so much. I got a couple more hands now, so let me go in order or come down, alphabetical order. Thank you for the question. Next question is by Lucretia Gordon. Hey, Miss Lucretia, how you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm fabulous, fantastic, and amazing. Did you have a question, or did you want to role play or something?
Yeah, well, I kind of almost, I felt like I needed to be a little transparent, because just as you just said the last statement, basically I had a friend of mine that I had spoke with about the business, and she had just asked me probably about 2 weeks prior to that, before I introduced her to the business, asked me to borrow some money. So I said, okay, so this might be an opportunity for her, because of course, if you're asking me to borrow some money, that means you might need to be trying to make some extra income. So when I introduced her to the business, actually she had come out to she had gone to one of the meetings in Dallas, because she's actually out at Fort Hood in Texas. So she was like, okay, yeah, I'm really interested. So I was like, okay, so where are we? I just need to get you on the call, with some of the experts that, know a little bit about more than I do. And I said, so she was like, well, I want to talk with my boyfriend. So she was like, I talked with him and we want to wait till he get back. And I was like, well, where is he and when do he get back? So she was like, oh, he's in Kuwait with, overseas, and he won't be back until June 15th. And I was like, well, let me ask you a question. So she was like, well, I said, you say you're interested. And I say, but why would you want to wait so long if you need to make some extra income? I said, so you can get him started as well. I said, you guys don't have to wait if you want to join at the same time. So she was like, well, yeah, he just said he just wants to wait. So I said, you know what? Okay. So, and just as you said, she basically closed me. So I just said, okay. So how would I handle that?
Well, very easily, through questions. Again, the person that asked the questions in control of the conversation. So based on the information she gave me, number one, I wouldn't have went straight in and there are several things you said during y'all's conversation. I love what you said where you said, let me get you on with the expert. But I would have asked more questions, Number one, me knowing her and her being a friend of military, I would have asked her some questions, and then I told you how you take what they say and use it against them.
Right.
So if you were her and I had that history, I would say, Lucretia, you know what, I'm working on a major project. I'm really excited about it. I'm putting together, I'm looking to partner up with a few key people who I know I respect, who are business-minded, who are go-getters, and you were one of the first people that came to my mind. Do you keep your income options open to make an extra income?
Yes.
Lucretia, I'm having a special call tonight. It's going to be about 15 minutes. I'm going to have a couple of my key experts on that's going to give the details. Can you make it a priority to get on that call tonight? It's my invitation only.
Okay, sure.
I'm going to get you on the call. Now, once you're on the call, I'm going to follow up afterwards. I'm going to say, once you're on the call, I need you to give me a call or text me and let me know you're on the call. We're going to talk immediately afterwards because my posture is strong, and I'm telling you, but if I didn't ask you those questions up front, I'm making assumptions. Just you're basing all yours off of assumptions. I assume she needed to make more money. Unless she tells you she needs to make more money, it's arguable. But if you asked her, do you need to make more money? Now you get to use that and throw it back at her or use it to close her. Follow me?
Yes.
So the thing is, I don't know if you was on Wednesday's presentation. If not, watch the video from Wednesday. But
yes, I was.
you have to, sometimes we're going for the close too soon, but you got to establish and ask questions. And once you ask the questions, you can close her. The boyfriend issue will be easy. I wouldn't go down that path because you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm asking, is he paying your rent? Is he paying? I'm going to ask these type of questions. So why do you need his approval or why are you waiting on him when there's a chance y'all might even, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to.
You're right.
But we're going to have a discussion. We're going to have, and I'm telling everybody on the line, here's a question I always ask. And when I ask this, I'm about to come down and be very transparent. I'm going to say, Lucretia, can we have real talk? And when I say that, that means that we're about to have a very personal talk because that's garbage, what you just told me. And I'm going to tell you it's garbage. But you can't be intimidated to have a discussion. Don't attack them, but guess what? Hear what they're saying and say, so in other words, what you're telling me is this. Did you hear me ask the question when I was reading it where I said, if you won the lotto, but your only stipulation was you had to set aside this time, could you do it?
Yes.
I'll use examples like that to get a person to think the way I'm thinking because at the end of the day, I need you, all I'm saying is look at it. If you look at it and say it's not for you, great. But, so hopefully that helps.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Mr. Marvin Walker, how you doing, sir? Mr. Marvin Walker. Your phone's muted. One more time. Marvin Walker. Okay, you put your hand back up. Did you have a question? Okay. So, if you get online, I'll answer your question. Miss Sandra Wiggins, how you doing?
Yes. Hi, Mr. White. My question is basically the same as the last two people. I have a friend that I talked to about maybe a month or so ago, and she actually was in the travel business as well at one time. So I told her that I was launching my travel business again, and invited her to go on the website, on my website, to look at that and let me know what she thought about it. So this evening I talked to her and I asked her, I said, well, have you been on the website? And she was like, no, and I'm so tired, and she wants to retire, but she said, I've got to pay off some bills first. So of course I was like, well, this is a great opportunity, you know, for you to make some extra money to do that. But I don't know, she's just not ready to commit, I guess. So how should I pursue it further, or, you know, what's my next step, I guess?
Well, number one, the first thing was you told her just go to your website. So you just, hey, go look at my website. So when you check back to see if she looked at your website, the website's not going to. Let me say this, and that's a great question. But let me say this, Ms. Walker, and this is for everybody. Guys, you're going to eat what you kill. You can't be passive about your business. So what happens when you say just go to my website? The website, I know we got Katie on the back office, but it ain't going. It's the website. So she doesn't perceive she can make money. So that's why she just told you. You talked to her about she was a travel agent, so she understands booking travel. But what you want to talk to her about is the marketing side, where you want her to see the marketing side, but it's not going to just be revealed because she looks at your website. You know, so she doesn't perceive, because the way you presented it, that it's something that's worth her time. It's like, I'm busy, I got to get a job, and you thinking. And most times if you hear somebody say, well, I need to make money, that's because you hadn't presented this as a way that, hey, this could help you. I know you're about to retire, but before you can get to that point, you got to ask questions. So if you was her, I would ask you some questions. So I know you're about to retire. What are you going to do? You know, if you say you're about to go get another job or you're about to do something, I'm saying, you know, I want to find out, you know, what is it you're about to do? And I'm going to use what you tell me to close you, at least take a look. And I'm not just saying go to my website. I'm going to say when you got 15, I need to talk, when you got 15, when you're in front of your computer, I need 15 minutes. Okay. So now I'm going to schedule a time where I can get you in front of your computer, but I can show you what I'm doing. Girl, I think this would be perfect for you. I mean, you know, we can make a lot of money. We can help a lot of people. Oh, man, you know, I'm going to sell it from a standpoint of not oversell it, but I'm going to let you know that, look, we can make some money. You know, I might talk about some other people who was in travel, but they came over here. But you're going to look at it. But a lot of times, guys, y'all give me individual situations that took place, and I could tell you didn't have these skills that I just covered. You didn't know. So, yes, you had a discussion, and Jason may have said this, and Lucretia said this, but I'm telling you, when you apply these skills, and the skills is, hear them out, feed it back to them in the form of a question, use the feel, felt, found method, regain control, stress the benefit, answer objection, but stress the benefit, and then feed it back to them in the form of a question. If you get good at that, and that comes from practicing, drilling, and rehearsing, doing it over and over and over, but how do you learn it? From listening to it. That's why you do three-way phone calls. So when you do three-way phone calls with interested people, you should see these techniques because you'll see your leader doing it. They're going to ask, so what would you like best about what you heard? What would you like best about what you saw? And then the person's going to tell them, and they're going to answer it. But that's how you learn to get good. I guess I'm going over it, but you're not going to get it from just one presentation. It's going to come from repetition. And how you get it is you take interested people, and how do you know they're interested? Because they'll look at the information. And how do you get them interested? Ask questions. So if you ask the right questions, you'll pique their interest. Once you pique their interest, they'll take a look at the information. Either they're interested or they're not. Spend your time with interested people. So I just wanted to share that. Let's see. Let's kind of do some. Mr. Roger Clark, I'm about to unmute your mic. Mr. Clark, how you doing? Mr. Roger Clark, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How you?
I'm outstanding. You had a question, or did you want to role play or something like that?
No, I have a question.
Okay.
I have a prospect, and she looked at the video. She liked what she saw. I'm not sure if she's really interested, but she says that she will do the three-way if it benefits me. So what would you do in that situation? Would you determine that she's not really interested? Or?
Yeah, I would. And how you determine if she's interested, you ask this question. You asked her, the first question you should ask her, what did she like best about what she saw? So she's required to tell you what she liked best. Number two, the next question you ask her on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you love what you see, you're ready to get started, 1 being it's not for you, what number would you give yourself? And don't let her pick 5 other than 5. And so if she says 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, if she say 10, that means sign her up. I mean, you ain't got to do no 3-way. It means sign her up. If she say 6, 7, or 8, or 9, say great. So let me ask you this question. What would it take to get you to a 10? That's the question. And when she tells you, say, I got the perfect person to answer that. See, now you force a 3, but if she says she's a 2, a 3, well, hey, I appreciate your time. See, she's going to tell me if she's interested or not, and I'm going to know she's interested. Because we want people to be interested so bad that we just assume they like what they see, but as soon as you tell me that but, I'm like, okay, that means she don't like what she saw. I mean, just because they tell you, I like it, I'm interested, but what comes after the but is what the truth is. So guys, just because a person tells you they're interested, you can't just, find out what you like best about what you saw, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give yourself? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm going to see if I got any more questions. Then let's do some role playing. Let's do some role playing. But let's, Miss Combs.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. How you doing today?
I'm well. I would love to role play. I have a question though as well.
Go ahead. Let's take your question.
Okay, my question is, I have 3 verbal yeses. Verbally they said yes, and they texted and said before they verbally said yes, I'm interested, I want to do this. The first one did it Monday. However, I haven't received any notifications that I have an agent signed up under me. So I need help, or maybe a strategy on how to call them and say, hey, let me walk you through this. Like, what's the next steps? One of the gentlemen actually said, what's my next steps? And I said, sign up, but he hasn't signed up yet.
Oh, and I'm so glad you said that. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Let me tell you loud and clear. I'm so glad you said that. Listen, one of the first things you need to do is you need to go to your back office and y'all need to download the application. Y'all need to download the application. Y'all need to memorize what's on the application. I don't need an application. I can fill out a sheet of paper. I can fill out a tissue paper. If they say I'm ready, what's the next step? See, and I'm not picking on you. I'm glad that you said this. Oh, I'm so glad you said this. See, guys, please understand this. You're the professional. So they don't know what they don't know. And so what happens, depending on their personality type, you might send them to the site and then they got to read everything under the sun. They might be intimidated. What happens is this. If you said, LaSharon, I called you and said, you said, I'm ready to get started. What I do next? I say, great. I need to get a little bit of information from you. We're going to get you up and running today. Man, I'm so excited. I'm going to stress the benefit. I'm going to say, hey, listen, let me ask you this question. Oh, I'm not going to say, let me ask you this question. I'm just going to say, so what name do you want on your check? How do you want your name to be spelled on your check? And guess what? I just want to, I got it. I'm going to say, LaSharon, I just want to make sure I'm spelling it correct. LaSharon Combs. I want to make sure we spell it right on your check. That's a closing question. So when you give me your name, you're ready to go. Then I'm going to say, let me ask you, what address do you want your check to be sent to? And guess what? You're going to give me your mailing address. Now, see, we're going with the buying sign. When you tell me you're ready, I'm asking you for your information. I'm not putting you on no website. The only time you go into that website is if you say, well, why do I got to give you my Social Security? That means that you got an issue, you had some, but we're about to do business. I'm going to go and ask you the questions. So let me just tell you so y'all can hear. So I'm going to say, where do you want the check to be sent? I'm going to say, now, what's your date of birth? Okay, great. So what was your birthday? I'm going to ask you, I got your phone number because I'm talking to you. I'm going to say, what's your email address you want to be sent? We're going to correspond with you. So what's your email address? And I'm going to repeat it back to you, right? And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say, listen, you're going to be an independent contractor, you're going to be an independent contractor, so I need your Social Security number, or do you want to use your tax ID number? And you're going to say, I don't know, or do I need to use my tax? It's totally up to you. You can use your social and we can switch it over to your tax ID number later. And then once I ask you, I'm going to say, listen, so we're going to use a check, a credit card, we're going to use a check or debit card. Not a check. We're going to use a debit card or credit card. We can use Visa, MasterCard. I'm just going to ask you, we can use Discover, Visa, Master. What card are you going to use? And you're going to tell me, I'm going to use a Visa. Great. Can you get it? Can you read it to me from left to right? And I'm going to repeat it back to you. I'm going to say, what's your expiration date? What's that CVE code on the back? Oh, one last question. Is the same address attached to the credit card the one that's your mailing address? I don't want to use the word bill. I don't want to say where's your billing address. But what I am saying is this, and I'll make that just a training, because y'all, when people say they're ready to go, you got to pull out a sheet of paper. Whatever you're doing, stop and get them signed up. Don't say, well, let me get you on the computer. Go to the computer, sign up. No, you get the information, and you verify it. And then you go put them in the system and sign them up.
Okay. I
Now,
understand. That makes sense.
awesome. And so it's just one of those things now. Now to your question, okay, they said they're ready, but they're not in yet. What you could say is, you know what, I was talking with one of my business partners, and they're so excited to meet you. And guess what? What you do is just put it on. You told them about your business partner. They're excited. And then you let us do a three-way. And then we ask them, what do I got to do to get you partner with Sharon tonight? Oh, nothing. What I got to do? Well, I'm going to get a little information from you. We're going to get you up and running. And guess what? They're going to say, okay. But we got to ask for the money. We can't be scared to ask. We got to ask for the money. We got to close. And so if they tell you they're ready, but then you say, well, they ain't signed up yet, that's because you dropped the ball. And I'm saying everybody on the phone, they told you I'm ready. But you say, okay, well, go to my site. No. You pull out a sheet of paper. You can be driving. You can tell somebody else to fill it out. But guess what? You fill out the information.
I understand.
Make sense? And I will come back to you to role play. I got another question. Ms. Linda Hughes.
Yes,
Hey, how you doing, beautiful?
I am wonderful, fantastic. Just to piggyback off of what she was saying, and I was hearing you talk about having an application. Actually, I just go to the website and do the application myself. So am I doing that wrong?
No, you're not doing it wrong. My point being is this. What I tend to do is I write it down. Some people want to go and put them in immediately at the same time, so it's up. It's nothing wrong with that. Depends how fast you type, and it depends if you got computer access. But if you write it down, you always got it. And I don't mean...
I write it down, too, because I want to make sure that I have their password and all of that, just in case they need.
Oh.
So I'm writing it down, too, so I just go directly to the site and put them in.
No, you're not doing wrong. You're doing right. But let me say something about that, too. And this is just FYI. I don't give people the option to use their password. Now, please let me tell y'all what I mean by that. If I was enrolling you, Ms. Hughes, I wouldn't ask you what you want your password to be. I make the password the same for everybody. Now, for me, you pick your own. Mine's is success 01. So everybody, if I enrolled you, your password going to be success 01. Because 2 weeks later, when you say I don't remember what my password is, I still know what your password is. Now, you change it. Once you get to your own site, you change it. Also, I don't give people the option to pick what they want their site to be. It's going to be your first and last name, .vacation. I promise you. Because guess what? Now, you can change it. I don't care. Once you get in, you can change it. But I say that some of y'all will get caught up because you'll say, well, what do you want to call your website? They don't know. And now they're going to say, well, let me think about it. And it's going to put everything on hold. When they say they're ready, you need to fill it out. Don't ask them what you want your site to be called. Don't ask for the password. Because typically the password they give you is the password they use for everything else. You don't need that. Make up their password and then let them change it. So I'm glad that you said that, but no, you're not doing it wrong. The main thing is you closing. I mean, I see you hitting the genealogy, you closing, so you're doing it right. But for the benefit of everybody else, guys, go put out the application and always have some with you. When we come to the meeting, always have applications with you. It's not, you don't need to say, well, Gregory, no, you need to have applications because you're always prepared to close.
Okay, my last question is what Lucretia was talking about. The lady had already been to the meeting.
Okay.
So do you still put her on a launch call?
You could, absolutely. It depends. See, and I'm glad you asked that question. It's not one exposure. It may take more than one exposure. If the person's interested, it's kind of like this, if I can use this quick analogy. If a gentleman is courting a woman, he may take her on a date, but it's going to be multiple dates before she say, I do. So just because they come to a meeting, it may have been a good stretch. They came, they saw it, they're pretty excited, but they still, they may need another level of exposure. You might have a mixer. You might have a training call. You might invite them on the IMV. You don't have to just make it the same thing, or they saw a presentation and you feel like you're in holding. Invite them to something else. Invite them to a Super Saturday. It has to be something different. You can't keep inviting them on the same launch call. But guess what? You can let them know we're having a major call tonight. When David's having one, put them on that. It's not just one thing. That's why you need to have that. Remember that sheet I told you about earlier where you're able to keep things organized so you know where they at? You know, if you did a three-way,
Right.
you know, you might do a validation call. What's the difference between a three-way and a validation call? They're very much the same, but Ms. Hughes, you might come to me and you like it. I introduced you to trade. Down, I mean, you're like, okay, this is good, but you're still enjoying. You weren't ready to join that night. But now what happens is, guess what? I know that, let's just hypothetically say you're in a sorority. I'm not going to pick one so I don't get in trouble, but you're in a sorority, and I happen to know somebody who's your same sorority sister. I'm going to start edifying that person and say, you know what? I got to get you on the phone with such and such. And I'm just going to let people share their stories. I might put you on the phone with 2 or 3 people. If you're in the military, I might introduce you to Orlando Moore. If you're in the beauty industry, I'm going to introduce you to trade. Those are validation calls. It has nothing to do with you trying to close them. It's just other people sharing their success stories. If you're in the music industry, I'm going to put you on the phone with Travis Knuckles or Tawanda Chambly. I'm going to put you on the phone with somebody else. So I'm going to keep exposing you to different things. Just because you came to the meeting, I'm going to invite you to my travel party. I'm going to tell you to bring some people with you. But if you're interested, I'm going to keep dating you. I'm going to keep what we call BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting. That makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
You see
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you end me. Yeah.
All right, guys, it's time. I wanted to do some role playing, but this was recorded. Let me stop it.